Hello and welcome. On this video, you are going to learn how can you leave a toxic relationship, right? Sometimes when we are in a relationship, we understand that something is off, but we are having a hard time seeing what exactly is going on. And so we start seeking help. And this is probably how you found my page and how you got here. And now you are here because you are searching, you have a lot of questions, you are confused. And so in this video, I would love to share with you and answer some of the questions that you have. So, the term going around right now is kind of like narcissistic, abusive, toxic, and you're like, I don't know if that's what I'm in. I just know that I feel like they don't love me anymore. I feel like they love me and they hate me. I don't understand what's going on. So, that means you are in the perfect place to be because step one is actually awareness, recognizing that you are in a toxic, abusive, manipulative relationship, right? And what makes it like toxic? What makes it abusive? And the number one thing is actually manipulations. So they manipulate with you, and this is where it's not physical abuse, but it's a lot of mind games. And when they play these mind games, it leaves you very confused, uncertain. You're like, I don't know if they love me, or one day they want to break up, they want to get a divorce, and then the next day they are love bombing me by like giving me all these gifts and saying, I love you, I can't live without you. So it's very, very confusing. So that is manipulation. So they are doing something to keep you in the relationship, but they are not treating you the way you want to be treated in a relationship. They don't love you the way you want to be loved. So they just, I call it breadcrumbing. They breadcrumb you. They give you just a little bit to keep you hanging in this relationship, to keep you kind of like hooked. So manipulation is usually done through lies, right? So them telling you, I love you, they depending on the status of your relationship, they probably don't even have a clear understanding of what love is. Because if you loved a person, you would be communicating, you would be listening to what this other person wants, which is you. And when you tell them, hey, like this hurts me, this doesn't make me feel comfortable, I don't like this, they would change because they love you. They don't want to lose you. So manipulation and lies are a way to keep you in this relationship, to keep you confused, and not to love you the way you want to be loved. So your needs are not being met. The next thing would be through control. So they try to control where you go, what you do, how much money you spend, who you talk to, how you talk. All of that is control. And and actually, through control, they make you feel guilty. They make you feel sorry for them when in reality, they are the ones hurting you. So that's manipulation and control, and it leads into guilt and shame. And these are the feelings that you most often feel, is why you don't leave them, is because of the guilt and the shame and the emotional attachment. The next thing they do is they isolate you, and this can look like you don't have very many friends, you don't really keep in touch with your family, and then this can go deeper to where you are maybe not working, so now you become financially dependent on them. So little by little, you are isolated, and that means you become more codependent on them versus, this could be emotionally, because if you kind of speak up, they can go either into silent treatment or into an argument or punish you. So they are training you to stay silent, to stay quiet. So isolation has a lot of control. If they can isolate you, that means they have a lot of control over you. Um, and like I mentioned, they may want you to quit your job, and it can look like, you know what, like I provide for a family, I make enough, and then you quit your job, but then you might not have full access to the money. They tell you what you can and cannot buy, and then like your needs are not being met because they are telling you that you can't buy all of these things. So you not having your own finances is also very abusive. Um, Another tactic that they use often is the kids, right? They either want to have more kids to kind of work on the marriage, or they use kids as a leverage, like against you, or they will say things like, "You're a bad mom, you're a bad dad, you're a bad parent." Um, so they use kids to again put guilt and shame into you. Um, they can also use it as a threat to keep them away from you. If you dare leave them, they will use kids, against you, that you're not going to be able to see them. So they use a lot of threats, blackmail, and fear. Like I said, they can call you a bad parent, a bad Christian. This is where religion kicks in, and they can manipulate you with Christianity and things like you are not good for anything. So everything that I have just listed, this is all considered abuse. So this is verbal abuse, this is emotional abuse, and this is financial abuse. So step one is recognizing that you are in a toxic, abusive relationship. Because when you view it from this perspective, you're like, okay, like you're kind of being real. You're no longer delusional. You're no longer being manipulated, but you begin to see things for what they are. Because then you can go to step two. But the moment you are living in their delusion that they are making you feel and see, you're going to be stuck until you kind of have that aha moment and you're like, you know what, like this is abuse. And then you kind of go to step two, the next step, and you're like, what am I going to do about this? Do I keep living in this and keep dying on the inside, dying as an individual, or do I change something? Um, so if you don't call it for what it is, that means they have full control and they have programmed you. You are no longer in free will and you are under their control. Um, so, step two would be to start seeking help. Because if you are this far in that you don't see abuse for what it is, if you don't see toxic for what it is, and you're not walking away, that means you need some extra help, someone to come and look at your life from a different angle, from a different perspective, and help you get out. So this is when a therapist might come in, a coach, a mentor, to help you understand that, hey, this is not your fault and that you need to get out of guilt, shame, and blame. Um, okay, the next step is if you are suspecting, or maybe even more, you're now aware that you're in an abusive environment, the best thing you can do is find healthy, supportive people and start building healthy, supportive relationships. Because oftentimes, if you're maybe here, you've probably told people, hey, something's wrong. Hey, my partner is acting this way. Hey, my partner is hurting. So you are telling people, but this is where you may find that some people are not really helping you. Like they're hearing you out, which a lot of time people go to therapy and maybe you've been to therapy, but you feel like it's not really helping you because they kind of keep you stuck. They don't really show you a way out. Like you talk about your feelings, you talk about emotions. It feels good in that moment, but then it doesn't really change the circumstances. You're kind of stuck. You feel good while you're in that session. Once the session is over, next day rolls over and you're back to square one. So my goal is actually to get you out of the cycle. My goal is to completely get you out of the state that you are in so that you can start living a different type of love. Get out of that mentality that they have programmed you with. So kind of give you like a wake up call. So that's what I am here to do. Um, and also, if you start seeking help, a good, healthy, supportive person like a coach, a mentor, they will help you find an escape plan. Not find, but build an escape plan that is comfortable for you. And it will be at your own pace, whatever you are comfortable with. It's not something you are forced to do, but it kind of gives you a perspective and a way out. Because if you are here, you are most likely looking for a way out. And so, um, and this is where I'm going to talk about two different scenarios, whether you are physically with them under one roof, or if you are already physically, you guys are not together under one roof, but emotionally, you are still stuck. You know, you still miss them, you still want them, and you kind of can't get them out of your life. There's kind of like still in and out of your life. Um, so if you are living, if you are living under one roof, you want to start financially preparing yourself. One of the core things, what keeps you stuck in these relationships is actually money. Like, yes, you are emotionally, attached to them, but it also comes down to money and maybe children. So you stay either because you can't afford to live on your own, or because you have a business together, or you have children together, and maybe you're a stay-at-home parent, stay-at-home mom, you have little children, so you're not really in a position to get a job, to get your own finances. So in the meantime, as you are learning all of this, start preparing your finances. And if you guys are, living under one roof. So many relationships that are toxic, they remain toxic because of the financial control. So if they are the only provider, start thinking of ways that you can start earning your money. If they are a provider, how can you get your name onto these assets as well, so that you have access to these things as well? So start seeing what can you do. And maybe your name is on these assets, but how can you start earning your own money? So financially, start preparing yourself. Your goal should be to become financially independent, or financially in a shape, or a better shape before cutting contact with them. So this is why victims sometimes go back to their abuser because they weren't prepared. Like, they found out like they're narcissistic, they are abusive, so they start like they escape, right? They go move out, they start living with their parents, but financially they're not prepared. They don't have enough money, so they don't really like where they're at. So you go back to the person that's hurting you because you kind of have this need to survive because you're not making your own money. So money is such a surviving mechanism, right? So if you can get your finances in order, in shape, or finding a resource that can make you money, then you're going to be in a much better place. So start thinking about the finances and how you're going to be more financially independent. The next thing is, if these people are in your life, right? This could be your partner. Maybe these are your parents. Maybe this is your coworker. These are the things that you want to be doing. And these specifically help more if you are working with somebody, because if you have gotten this far, it means you kind of like lost confidence. You don't have a very high self-esteem. So an outside person, they will start building these things up in you. And it's things like confidence, it's things like setting boundaries, and kind of like emotionally get you into a better place. So once you so step 4 at this point is start speaking up for yourself. So this comes with confidence. Once you build that up, you start standing up for yourself. If this person needs to be in your life, if you are under one roof. So, and this also depends on the extreme of how abusive your partner is. So I'm going to name a few things. You can try them with your partner, but if you see that they are getting more aggressive, this is not going well, you are more at harm, then I will give you option 2, and that's called the gray rock method. But in the meantime, as you are building confidence, start trying this. So start speaking up for yourself, because if they truly love you, they will start seeing that like you are speaking up, and they will listen to you, and they will begin to change. But I can guarantee it, if you have gotten to this stage in your relationship, they don't love you, they don't respect you. They are just there for some kind of needs that they want met, right? It's that means they are gaining something from this relationship that they have with you. Um, um, so, at this point, yeah, like they don't really value you, and they don't see your worth. This is why you standing up for yourself may cause some more harm. Also, you can try setting boundaries. And like I mentioned, like if you're getting outside help, they will help you learn how do you set boundaries, how do you implement them, how do you make sure that this person is valuing your boundaries. And just so you know that boundaries are walls that protect your inner peace, and they soothe your anxiety. So this is something you are gonna have to learn to do in order to protect yourself. So if you are going this route, if you want to speak up, if you want to be more confident, if you want to start setting boundaries, prepare that they won't like this, because they will see that you are getting stronger and that you are pulling away. And with this, they will try to punish you. They will threaten you even more, mail you, and or use the silent treatment, right? And then when all of this happens, it begins, kind of like that phrase, you kind of have to hit rock bottom. It has to go all bad in order for it to start being better. So if they really love you and they see that you are setting boundaries, you're beginning to value yourself, they're gonna start valuing you. They're gonna start respecting you. um, but I can most likely guarantee that, like I said, if it got this far, they're gonna get aggressive. They're not gonna like it. So this is where you can try method two, and um, this is the gray rock method, is where you stay neutral, where you stay unbothered, and you stay unemotional. And this is in their presence when they are attacking you, but it is also when you are not with them. So mentally, you begin to detach. Mentally, you begin to be more unbothered by what they say, more unbothered by what they do, less emotional to what they are doing. So you are pulling back your emotions. So that's the gray rock method. And then the last step would be to actually leaving this relationship. So once you have some finances, you are emotionally more confident, you can now physically leave this relationship. And the way that you want to leave is actually prepare like two plans, because the thought of leaving can get you into overthinking. It might put you in a lot of fear. But when you kind of narrow it down to two plans, you have plan A, I can go live with my parents, or maybe he can move out. So think of those two plans. Either I move out or he moves out. And what does that look like? Um, so those are kind of the steps to leaving a toxic, abusive relationship. So start thinking about where you are in your life and what is your next step. So if you are seeking help, I would love to help you. I do have very many options. I have a group option, I have a one-on-one option. I would love to help you get out of that, because I was once there. I know what it's like to be in those shoes, to be in that situation, and I can guarantee you that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and I've gotten to the other side, and I want to help you get to the other side as well, because you don't deserve this type of relationship. You deserve so much more, and you deserve to be loved.